Nathan, has it already been 3 years since we took a Grand Vitara up this trail? And back then we had
two.
And now we've got the Ultimate Adventure, which ironically
it has nothing that you can use for off-road. The Ultimate Adventure does have a nice interior.
It does, purple seats. So if your idea of Ultimate Adventure is purple seats, this is the one. It doesn't have a lockable differential, and it doesn't have
the V6 anymore. In fact, they don't put the V6 in these. It has a 4-cylinder engine that puts out 166 horsepower, 162 pound-feet of torque, which isn't a lot up here. And, oh God, I hate to say this, a 4-speed automatic transmission.
What we do have today, though, is mud, and we love to get our cars dirty. So join us as we see how the 4-cylinder compares to the 6 that we had 3 years ago. And if you want to see that video, as always, click above. Oh my, what TFL video will be complete without Nathan in the back?
Yes, I fit, darling. Here's the problem. Despite all this room and a low load-in floor, the door swings towards the curb because initially when this car was built in Japan, they face the other direction when it comes to curbs. So in other words, when you want to get your groceries out, all of this door over here, if you pan over here and look at it, is blocking your way before you get to the curb. That's the problem with these doors. Bummer.
19 city, that's what you get when you opt for the Grand Vitara. And this car, let's face it, has been around a long, long time. It was a different name previously in America, but in Europe and the rest of the world, it's always been the Grand Vitara. Back then, when it was new, I thought it was good looking. Today, having just driven the Escape, I think it's looking a little dated. Suzuki desperately needs to update it. Hey Nathan, what makes this the Ultimate Adventure?
The Ultimate Adventure has 3-tone seats, nice little purple leather thing going on there, and painted wheels. Very cool. Here's something that's really cool. I don't know if you can see it from there, but I love this navigation system because you could take it with you. It's about the size of a, PDA. The good news is, underneath here, I think there's still a truck. We're gonna find out. We've taken RAV4s, Subaru Foresters, you name it, on these roads, and this one is doing pretty good. On the regular roads, it's sort of nondescript. It's okay. It's nothing special, which in this class, nowadays, it really needs to be special. This very same vehicle I took in deep snow, and it did very well. So I guess if you're dealing with deep snow and if you can find a good deal, maybe that's the one reason to buy one of these, because frankly, I can't think of another.
You know, Nathan, I know that this Grand Vitara is ancient, but on the other hand, it's solid, it's compact, and it's fuel efficient.
Yeah, for an old-fashioned vehicle like this, it's pretty impressive that it did so well off-road, and it really did do very well. Because off-road, the only vehicle that I can think of that competes with this in terms of competence and ride is the LR4.
It feels, smells, and handles like I think a Mercedes should. Hey Nathan, what kind of a monster SUV are you driving?
Well, it's more like a dinosaur because it's based on the good old Toyota Land Cruiser. This is the 2013 Lexus GX 460.
And that, my friends, is a brand new 2013 Mercedes GL 350. And here's the good part, diesel. The future, the past, up next on the Fast Lane Car. That, my friends, is yesterday's news. This is where we're going. Why? Because it's a diesel. And what makes this so special is that it's a 3-liter V6 that puts out horsepower, but 455 pound-feet of torque, which means that it gets very good gas mileage for a car, well, SUV, that weighs 5,500 pounds.
There's a reason Roman's not discussing the horsepower from his German machine. It's because it doesn't put out that much. This, on the other hand, puts out 301 horsepower and 329 pound-feet of torque from one of the smoothest 4.6-liter engines I've sampled. And yes, it's a V8. The problem is this thing weighs as much as a library, so it ain't fast, especially up here. Okay guys, we know that this doesn't quite compete with the Mercedes-Benz in terms of level, price and whatnot, but we know that the LX does. However, this is the most off-road worthy of all the Lexus vehicles currently made. And in terms of utility, kind of nice to have this, kind of nice to be able to load things in so they can go outward, and I'll tell you why. Because for some reason they have decided to stick with the conventional side opening door, which if a car is right behind you, yeah, good luck opening it.
This is the Mercedes-Benz of SUVs, literally. There are 3 sunroofs. There is more technology in the seat than there is in most cars. There's also an almost $90,000 price tag. But for 2013, they have made it a bit more usable by adding these very clever electric seats that allow for passenger ingress like this. See how easy that was? That is what you get when you get the Mercedes-Benz of SUVs.
Now, even though this is a foot shorter than the Mercedes-Benz, it does have a 3rd row seat that pops up here. It's smaller, but it does have it at least. So you're wondering maybe, why this vehicle? Why bother? You know, why not get the Toyota? The interior is really nice in this one. It's beautifully made. Lexus knows what they're doing.
It has air suspension, which allows me to raise it up to almost 11 inches. You can get one with an off-road package. This one doesn't have it, but you know, it doesn't really need it because it's doing very well.
That's the problem with these gas engines and big vehicles. They just don't do well. But fortunately, it does tow 7,000 pounds. That's not too bad. But to be honest with you, with the amount of power this thing actually feels like it has, I wouldn't tow more than 5,000.
You know, 21 miles to the gallon, which is what I'm getting in real-world driving, is not great. But for a big-ass 7-passenger SUV that can haul your whole family, plus tow your horses, 7,500 pounds towing capacity, that is phenomenal, just phenomenal. Mercedes, they knew not to mess with a good thing. The 2013 GL looks a lot like the 2012. In fact, if you parked them together, you'd have a hard time telling them apart. There's a different grille, there's a better light treatment, otherwise they're very similar. The Lexus, on the other hand, it looks like a startled cat.
Okay, startled cat might be a little harsh. I think it looks like an angry water buffalo. A water buffalo that can go over just about anything. And in fact, a lot of you who may have recognized this because it's related to the Toyota Land Cruiser, hell, if it had a UN flag up there, it looks like it would be tearing ass through the Middle East. Here's the thing. I think Roman's vehicle looks much better, but it kind of screams mommy.
The interior is nice, you know, it's not bowl me over fantastic like some of the newest Audis, but the leather, the materials, the placement of the controls, even the feel of the steering wheel, which to me is crucial, is spot on.
In terms of actual performance, in terms of getting on and off freeway on-ramps, in terms of being able to go and pass somebody, it's really hard, and it shifts constantly trying to find a way to optimize its speed.
Over 500 miles per tank full in this vehicle. Now that is great because let's face it, pumping diesel is never fun.
It is nearly a military vehicle when it comes to ability. It is frighteningly good.
You know, Nathan, these are both great off-road, but I have to give thumbs up to this one because with 7-speed transmission and a clean burning diesel that motivates 5,500 pounds of heavy truck and gets 21 mpg, that is the future.
Yeah, this thing is a bit pokey and kind of piggish because let's just face it, it's big and heavy, but it's fantastic off-road. If Toyota decided to allow Americans to have this with a big fat diesel, ooh, it would kick ass. But as it is, it's just a little too slow.
So on the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, I'm gonna give this diesel a buy it, even though at $89,000, it blows many people's budgets.
At nearly $70,000, this baby, at the best, lease it. You gotta try it out and make sure you wanna actually drive this vehicle every day.
I was hoping there would be mud here, and look at it all. This, my friends, is gonna be a hoot. Let's see how much dirt and mud we can get on the Sorento, and hopefully not get stuck, huh? That's when you need that locking differential. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 2012 Kia Sorento EX. It has a 2.4 liter engine with horsepower, and you know, it's the kind of car that most people will never ever take off-road, but thanks to this contour cam and thanks to a lovely Colorado day, we're going to take it off-road because today we're going to get this Sorento muddy just for fun. You may be wondering why I would take this mild-mannered family hauler off-road. There's a simple reason for that. It's got two things that make it off-road worthy. Number one, hill descent control. We're gonna give that a shot. And number two, a locking center differential, which should be plenty of off-road worthiness to tackle this relatively easy but muddy Colorado off-road trail. I have to be honest with you, my biggest issue with the Sorento is the fact that it's kind of bland. You know, it's made in America, which is good, but I get to drive this car for a whole week, and today I parked it at Safeway. Check out this photo. Can you tell which one the Sorento is? That's my issue. It looks like every other mid-sized family hauler out there. So how many Safeway shopping lots do you think you need hill descent control on? Probably none, but here in Colorado you need it. So let's activate it and see if it works. Oh yeah, it works well. Going down a pretty rutted, somewhat steep trail. I've got my foot off the brake and the Kia is doing all the work. Who would have thunk? This Sorento is actually very capable. That was very surprising. I never even had to lock the center differential. So I guess today's lesson is if you ever get a taste for adventure and you're bored of the Safeway parking lot and you want to go and take this thing off-road, for God's sakes do it because it's very capable and a lot of fun. It's not really dirty. I'm gonna get it dirtier.
All right, boys, you just won the lottery, $100,000 apiece. and your wife says you can use that money to buy a luxury SUV. What do you spend it on?
There is no doubt in my mind, Dave, that I would go and get this $98,000 Porsche Cayenne S, and I'd have $2K left over for gas.
I would get this Infiniti QX56 for $75,000 and actually have money left over for a proper vacation.
Actually, gas.
I think so, yeah, gas.
Now, you wouldn't think a Porsche would be good off-road. In fact, this one is beyond good. It's exceptional. That's because it has all-wheel drive, it has air suspension, 2 levels, and multiple locking differentials. What more could you want?
So today I will serve as your TFLcar official referee to keep these two knuckleheads in line, because we know someone needs to keep them on the straight and narrow. But will they remember the most important criteria of this mashup? And that is, which car would their wives choose?
But if you look at this particular vehicle, it's not based on the old Armada. It's based on the Nissan Patrol, known throughout the world as being one of the toughest trucks in the world. So this one is the luxury version. It has a regular locking differential, can go off-road. Yes, it's kind of low with those tires, but you know what? It does really, really well on moderate off-road obstacles.
Now, this is the second generation of the Cayenne. It still shares a platform with the Volkswagen Touareg, but it's no longer the ugly duckling of the two. In fact, I think it looks elegant, smart, and athletic. Unlike that blob, which is kind of a cross between a Mack truck and a cheeseburger.
Okay, I'll admit that it's dripping a little bit with a slight overstyling, but it's a functional shape. It is a proper SUV that, yeah, it's not very pretty. But here, come here, look at this. Look at these, huh? Huh? Well, okay, I understand it's right off of Buick, I get it, but, and they're not even really functional. Okay, so it's not really that good looking, but it is still very functional.
Hey Nathan, don't forget to hold the ketchup.
All right, Nathan, I think you're missing the whole point of this mashup. Stay on topic here. It's not necessarily about style, it's about what your wife thinks.
That's a good point, and guess what? We're in the business end of the QX56. Not only is it cavernous, but it has a third row, a very big third row, that can automatically go up and down. Very cool.
All right, I get it. Nathan's tows a lot more than this one. It is much more spacious, and probably it's a lot more luxurious. It's also ancient. The days of those dinosaurs are numbered. This car will still be desirable 5-10 years from now. That thing, that's gonna be a museum piece. Aha, now we're talking. I have not 1, not 2, but 3 levels of suspension, comfort, normal, sport. More importantly, I have 2 additional ride heights. I can raise it not 1, but 2 levels to give me plenty of ground clearance. And I have multiple differentials. The only thing I'm really missing are proper off-road tires. Otherwise, this Porsche Cayenne is a mountain goat.
I wish I could say this is a good old American V8, because it's not. It's obviously Japanese. But here's the interesting part about it. It is a 5.6 liter V8 that puts out 400 horsepower and, better yet, 413 pound-feet of torque. It is a proper V8 for a really, really, really heavy truck.
Now my engine only uses 4.8 liters to put out 400 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. But you know what? The real question, Nathan, you listening?
I'm listening.
And the one that the wife is going to care about is, what's your MPG?
Combined 16 miles per gallon.
That ain't good.
What is yours?
Shh. Doesn't matter. It's a sports car.
All right, Nathan, let's get down to it. How does the Infiniti compare to the Porsche when it comes to off-road capability?
They don't really compare. Let's be honest, folks. Both of these vehicles have really, really big wheels and really, really low sidewalls. They shouldn't even be off-road. The fact that they can do it pretty well is incredible. I mean, on this moderate off-road course we have here, it does very, very well. Now, in terms of cars that it competes with and trucks, pretty much whatever Lexus has, Mercedes, G-Series, you pretty much know what's out there, guys, right? I mean, we're talking the super expensive off-road vehicles that never go off-road.
All right, Roman, you are driving in luxury. This Porsche is amazing, but how does it compare to the Infiniti when it comes to off-road capability?
Honestly, they don't compare. I mean, this is head and shoulders above that car. It's smaller, it's lighter, it's taller when you jack up the suspension. It has a lot more differentials that you can lock. It's got, I think, a shorter breakover angle. It's just a much better car. The only way that that is better off-road is with the tires. Once again, this has high-performance street tires, and off-road, that's not what you want.
But the question is, which vehicles compare to the Porsche?
You know, that's a good question because there are only a couple, really. I'm thinking Jeep Cherokee, Grand Cherokee SRT 8. Perhaps it's Twin, the Volkswagen Touareg, the BMW X6. This is a very small and rarefied world. I mean, not a lot of people are going to pay $98,000 for an off-road car. And let's face it, for that you can get like 4 Wranglers, and each one of those will probably be better off-road, and you won't be terrified of scratching it because you've got a $98,000 car you're piloting through the great outdoors.
All right, boys, on the TFLcar scale of buy it, rent it, lease it, or forget it, what is your verdict?
Okay, mine is lease it unless you have a horse trailer. If you have a horse trailer, buy it, otherwise lease it.
All right, mine is buy it because I absolutely love this car, but let's be real. This is for our wives, and that is a family car because you could spend $24,000 less and put the rest of the money in the kiddos' college tuition fund, and that's going to make the wife happy, not the Porsche.
Or you can give your wife that and get yourself a Jeep.
No!